Tell us what you do remember of meeting Bon in the mid-70s with Fraternity when they played with your band.
Yeah, that was in Torquay. It was, we had driven down from Newcastle, and it was a long way. It's probably about 350 miles, maybe more, and we were just absolutely tired. In fact, we were late for the gig, and we got there, and I remember the first thing we saw was this huge American bus, which we hadn't seen anything like it in my life. And we were going, boy, these guys must be huge, you know, because we were in a little transit van or something, a little six-wheeler. And we walked in and we saw Fraternity, and they opened up. I don't know if they were headlining. I just know we got there late, so, you know, they had to go on. And we went and caught the last couple of songs, and I was sitting looking like, these guys are good, you know. But we didn't have much time. We got into our clothes and ran on the stage. And then when we came off afterwards, I remember I was on stage and I had an attack of appendicitis or something. I was doubled over at the end. And but Bon thought I was doing a James Brown. He thought, hey, he's got a good act, that kid. But I wasn't. And afterwards, you know, we're back in the dressing room. I got some shots from the doctor or something. And I know we all got together, and they were telling us that the bus had broken down. And it was the coldest night in Torquay in, I think, about 100 years. There was actually frost on the ground. And of course, Torquay is known as the Riviera of England, with palm trees and everything. So it was bloody cold. And we were staying at a bed and breakfast, you know, 4 beds in one room, you know. And it was absolutely bitter cold. And the inside of the bus, the boys' Fraternity's bus, was like a fridge. I mean, they couldn't do anything. So we would just kept drinking. And I think until we got kicked out of the hall where we were playing. This is where my memory gets a little blurry, Ben, because it was, as I say, there was drink involved, and we would just got on famously with our brand new friends who were musicians from Australia, and we'd never been there. We wanted to hear all about it and all of that. And then one of the guys in the band, I think it was Tom Hill, the bass player, said, yeah, you know, they knocked on the window and said, hey, guys, come in and get warmed up. I mean, I don't know how much of this is true, because, you know, and because we had to put shillings in this gas meter. And it lasted about 10 minutes, and then it was, you know, freezing again. So, but we did play a gig the very next night with them, and I think that's where we kind of got drunk again, and we really enjoyed each other's company. And it's the sad thing about music is, you know, we went our different ways, and I think they had to come back to Australia. I think money was getting short, and times were tough there. It certainly was for us. You know, we were trying to climb up the ladder. And that's where I met him. But I didn't know it was Bon. And I remember in about 1978, somebody said to us, you've got to watch TV tonight. BBC Two. There's a band on called acdc. And they're on, it was a program called Rock Goes to College, which was pretty adventurous for the BBC then. And I turned it on, and it was like the first time I saw Little Richard. You know, I just went, what the hell is that? It was, you know, it was Angus just at his peak. I think he was 22 or 23. He was just gone. And there was Bon, the singer, just this guy with a big smile on his face, you know, just, you just fell instantly in love with this band, you know, you just, well, you know, because I was in a little band at the time playing the clubs. And the first thing we did was learn Whole Lotta Rosie. After we saw it on the television, and we bought the record, and we started to do a few songs up there on the clubs. But it wasn't until, I think it was 1980 or 81 when we first went to Sydney, Australia. But after that, we went to Perth. And we got a letter saying Bon's mum, I think it's Isa is the proper way to pronounce it, was going to come to the gig with the two brothers, Colin and Graham, Derek and Graham, sorry, and come and say hi. And I was, no, well, this is lovely. And we were sitting back in the dressing room having a cup of tea. And I was saying, yeah, you know, which he said, didn't you play in Meet Our Bond before? And I went, I don't think so. And it was then, I think it was Graham, I'm sure it was Graham, said, yes, you did. I was there in Torquay when you played with him. And I went, that was Bon? Because he looked completely different, and it knocked me off my feet when I suddenly realised I'd known the man, you know, and that must have been 50 years ago when we knew each other for the first time. Bloody 50 years, can you believe that? But anyway, isn't it strange how stuff happens? You know, but anyway, that was my recollection. Some of them would be hazy, you know, but we certainly had a good time down, you know, near, you know, Cornwall and Devon, because we discovered this rough cider, and it was cheap, and you could get gallons of the stuff, and that's what we drank. You know, it was great times, you know.